Okay viewers, I'm going to take you on a whistle-stop tour around the town of the Lost Cinemas of Blackpool. Strap yourselves in, grab your popcorn, put your feet up and join me on this one. It's going to be a blast. Let's go. The Lost Cinemas of Blackpool. Okay viewers, the first stop today is going to be on the promenade opposite the Metropole Hotel. Okay, that's just past North Pier, just past Talbot Square, opposite the Metropole Hotel. That's our first stop today, the first cinema that we're going to visit. Okay viewers, so here we have it. It's now called Woody's. I don't even know if Woody's is still open, but Woody's is advertised as where Benidorm and Blackpool meet. Never been in there, but this was once the proud Princess Cinema. It was originally owned by the ABC Cinemas. They owned it. It had 1,770 seats, one screen. Okay, so there it is in all its glory, or it used to be in all its glory. It's not looking too clever today up top there. But yeah, 1,770 seats, the Princess Cinema, run by the ABC network, and it was quite a very popular cinema back in the day. I remember back in the day, I used to go in there as kids. I remember going to see, it was one of the first cinemas that had the surround sound put in. I remember it vividly. I went there to see, it was either a roller coaster or Tower Inferno, one of the other. I remember that back in the day. And here we're getting a little bit of a view of it on the night time as well. So yeah, as I said, it was run by the ABC. It actually closed down in 1981. The reason it closed down in 1981 is because that's when the other ABC on Church Street went from a single screen cinema to 3 screens. So that made way for this one to be closed down, because the other one became a multiplex cinema. Okay, so there you have it. That's the Princess Cinema, dead opposite the Metropole Hotel on North Promenade here, just past North Pier and Talbot Square, nestled in between Springfield Road and Queen Street. That's what was the Princess Cinema. It's been a few things after that. Been a couple of clubs. I remember it being Main Street, I remember it being Waterfront, and also Club Sanuk, just to name a few. It's been a few things since it closed down in 81. Okay, there you have it guys, the Princess Cinema. The building's still there, the cinema's gone, but that's what it used to be. Right viewers, that was the Princess. Next up, Studio 1234. That's right, Studio 1234. Next up. Okay then, here we have what was Studio 1234. Also on the promenade, opposite the Metropole, just past North Pier and Talbot Square, nestled in between Talbot Square and Queen Street. Okay, so basically Studio 1234 was the first multiplex cinema in Blackpool. It opened in May 1975. So basically the first cinema, there it is, that red brick building there, the first cinema with more than one screen. It had 740 seats across its 4 studios, which, as you can tell by the numbers, well, they weren't that big cinemas. To be fair, when you consider the Princess had 1,770 seats just on the next block up. Okay, so it's Princess Cinema, over 1,000 more seats than this one, and this one had 4 screens. It was also home to the Hofbrauhaus Beer Keller and King Dick's Bar, and what else was it at the time? I think it was Scamp's Discotheque as well. So several businesses within this building. Anyway, closed in 1987. 1987 was the final year for this building, for this cinema. Closed in 1987. Studio 1234. Okay, the next cinema we're going to be visiting is going to be the Tivoli Cinema, which is no longer there. It used to be part of the Yates's building. We'll do a little bit of insight into the Tivoli Cinema. Okay. Right then, here we have the Premier Inn at Talbot Square, which used to be Yates's Wine Lodge, and the Tivoli Cinema, of course. The Tivoli Cinema was on the first floor. You went through a walkway at the side of a pet shop here and into the Tivoli Cinema within the arcade. It used to stretch from Clifton Street to Talbot Road through the building. Okay, quite simply, Tivoli Cinema, it was opened in 1913. It had 920 seats. I remember it very, very well, to be fair. I've been in it a few times. I think the first time, if I remember rightly, the movie I went to see there was Monty Python's And Now for Something Completely Different with all my school friends. That was hilarious. I remember that very, very well. So yeah, so there's the Tivoli Cinema. And what was the Yates's building? It's on Clifton Street there, smack bang in the middle of the town centre. And now, unfortunately, it's just a Premier Inn. A Premier Inn, that's what we've got in place of that fantastic complex which comprised of the Tivoli Cinema, Yates's Wine Lodge. We had carriages, a restaurant downstairs as well in the basement, and a pet shop and a shopping arcade that you could walk through from one side to the other. But now we've just got a Premier Inn and no Tivoli Cinema, but that's where it was. The next stop's going to be the Regent Cinema. The Regent Cinema, a little known cinema from the past, a blast from the past, the Regent Cinema. That's our next stop on this whistle-stop tour of the silver screens of Blackpool. Okay viewers, here we have it. We've got the Regent Cinema here now. Regent Cinema on the corner of Regent Road and Church Street. This is the top end of Church Street. At Regent Road there, and where we meet. This is Cookson Street. Yes, Cookson Street with its fancy trees. So there you go. The Regent Cinema first opened in 1921. The Regent Cinema, relatively small looking on the outside, but unbelievably 1,200 seats. 1,200 seats on the inside. Very, very popular cinema in its time. Honestly, I can remember getting dragged there, kicking and screaming to watch Sound of Music. Sound of Music by my mother. I remember that very, very well. I think the only reason she got me there was for a box of Maltesers, if I remember rightly. But there you go, that's one of the movies that I did go to see there. Unfortunately, it was Julie Andrews in The Sound of Music. Well, there you go. It closed in 1969 and it reopened again in 2016, but it reopened as an independent cinema, but I believe it's now closed once more. It's more of an antique shop now than anything else in a museum. Right now, here's one for you, the ABC. The ABC, that's our next stop. The next stop, the ABC. The ABC Cinema also used to be a theatre as well. A lot of history in this building. ABC Cinema, next stop. Well then, here we have it now, the ABC. Unfortunately, now, it's just a car park. It's just a car park, believe it or not. One of the best theatres in the town, one of the best cinemas in the town, now a car park. Okay, ABC. 1934 seats the ABC Cinema had. 1934 seats with just one screen. Okay, it was made into a multiplex cinema in 1981, so then had 3 screens, and that's the same year that they closed down the Princess on the Promenade, which I showed you earlier. So we had 3 screens with 1934 seats. this was also a theatre. One of the first bands I saw here was Genesis back in, it must have been 78, 80, 1980, something like that. So Genesis perform here. I've seen Boomtown Rats here, and also back in the day, the Beatles, that was the biggest name to perform here. And the likes of Cilla Black also had summer season shows, and Ken Dodd and what have you. So, you know, a very, very, very prestigious theatre and cinema this was. But now, unfortunately, what have we got? A car park. That's it. That's what was the ABC Theatre. Unfortunately, reduced to just a car park. Back in the day, it was a hell of a place. Now it's time! It's time to visit the Odeon. The Odeon Cinema on Dixon Road. Dixon Road, our next stop. The Odeon Cinema. Okay, so here we have now the Odeon Cinema, or what was the Odeon Cinema. It's now Funny Girls Transvestite Show. Okay, so it's a transvestite show bar. Very, very popular, by the way. And it's been around for some time now. Okay, anyway, back in the day, the Odeon Cinema was a single screen cinema which originally seated 3,088 people. 3,088 people in that one cinema. In 1975 it changed to 3 screens, so it went multiplex alongside all the others, and it closed in 1988 to make way for the new Odeon Cinema on Rigby Road, which was a multiplex with 10 screens, but we'll get to that very shortly. Okay, so there you have it. Funny Girls on Dixon Road, just halfway up Talbot Road there. Dixon Road, you got Mark Kelly's on the corner, you can't miss it, you know where it is. Dixon Road and Talbot Road, it's that's where it is. Funny Girls Cabaret Show Bar, which was the Odeon Cinema, which is now Funny Girls. Okay, viewers, the next one on my list is the Ritz Cinema. The Ritz Cinema. How many people remember that one? Yes, it's slightly before my time, this one. Taking pride of place on the promenade, opposite Central Pier in the Huntsman Buildings. Let's take you there now. Okay, here you have it, the Huntsman Buildings. The Huntsman Buildings on the corner of Chapel Street and Central Promenade. This was originally the home of the Ritz Cinema. The Ritz Cinema, which opened in 1913. 1913, the Ritz Cinema. Way before my time. Don't remember it at all, but I do know it was in this building. Okay, it opened in 1913. It had a total of 584 seats, and it ran all the way through up until 1971, at which time it was changed into a cafe on the corner there. Okay, the cafe which is still there to this day. So we got the cafe on the corner, and next door to it used to be the Huntsman Pub, which is now Happy Days Amusement Arcade. Okay, so there you have it, the Huntsman Buildings on Central Promenade, Blackpool, what was originally the home of the Ritz Cinema. The Ritz Cinema, which is long gone. Now viewers, a right little gem this one used to be. The King Edward Cinema. The King Edward Cinema, the building's still there. It's a listed building. There's nothing they can do with this one. It's got to stay. The King Edward Cinema, Central Drive, our next stop. Here it is then. The King Edward Cinema. The King Edward Cinema on Central Drive, right at the bottom, facing the end of Reeds Avenue in Blackpool, Central Blackpool. Opened in 1913, the same year that the Ritz Cinema was opened, 1913 also. Okay, it had 1,009 seats and just one screen. I remember this place so well when I was a child. I used to go every Saturday for the Saturday matinees in this cinema. It was a forgiven. Every Every kid in the area used to go there on a Saturday morning, Saturday matinees at the King Edward Cinema. What a great place that was. I was brought up with this in this area and know this very, very well. It was later to become a bingo hall, and then it's been several other things, including nightclubs, and it now closed down, and it's going to be part of the new Heritage Quarter on the new 300 million mega build complex which is going in this area. So it's nice to see that it's being kept. It is a listed building after all. The King Edward Cinema. There it is in all its glory. Okay, viewers, next stop is none other than the Odeon Cinema on Rigby Road. Yes, on Festival Park, so to speak. Festival Park, the Odeon Cinema. Next up, the Odeon Cinema. Okay, viewers, here we have the Odeon Cinema. The only Odeon Cinema on Festival Park, which is on Rigby Road. Opened in 1998. Opened in 1998 with 10 screens. At the time, it was the only cinema left in the town. In 1998, 10 screens, seating 2,737. Okay, 2,737 seats throughout the 10 screens, and it's on the land which previously was taken up by the rugby club and the old dog racing track. That's right, it was the dog racing track and rugby club on the land where this building is now. Even so, it lasted 25 years, the Odeon Cinema. Also on this land at the time when it was built, we had Frankie and Benny's, the Swift Town restaurant, Bannatyne's Gin, and McDonald's. Swift Town has already been replaced by Club 3000 Bingo, which is there with the neon light round it. We also are having a brand new Starbucks drive-through coming onto this park as well. The Odeon Cinema itself, we don't know what's going to happen with it. It's just sat empty at the moment. Just sat empty, waiting for something to happen. All boarded up. And unfortunately, that's the way it's been now for over 12 months. So that's it. The Odeon Cinema on Festival Park on Rigby Road in Blackpool. Opened in 1998, closed in 2023. To be honest with you, I thought it had lasted a lot longer than that. There you have it, the Odeon, the last multiplex cinema. Right, viewers, off we go to the Royal Pavilion on Rigby Road. Royal Pavilion Cinema, corner of Rigby Road and Tilsley Road. That's your next stop on the whistle stop tour of the Silver Screens of Blackpool. Okay, here we have it. The blue building right in front of you here. This is the Royal Pavilion Cinema on the corner of Rigby Road and Tilsley Road in Blackpool. Of course, you got the Blackpool Tower there dead ahead of you as well. Okay, the Royal Pavilion opened in 1909, relatively small, with just 700 seats. 700 seats, the Royal Pavilion. What's unique about this building is that box that you can see stuck out at the top of your screen there. That is where the projectionist was. It had the box sat outside the building as it be so small for the projection to sit there, so it wouldn't take up all the seating area within inside the building, which is quite unique. I've never seen anything like that before. Anyway, unfortunately it closed in 1983, and since then it's been a number of things, but it's never really taken off. On the upstairs there's been bars around the base of it, the Crazy Scots bar and the Charlie's bar in the basement, but nothing on the top since it closed. So there you have it, the Royal Pavilion. Okay, viewers, The next stop's going to be that Palladium Cinema. Yes, the Palladium Cinema on Waterloo Road. Okay then, here we have the Palladium Cinema on Waterloo Road. The largest of the cinemas in the South Shore area of Blackpool. It was opened in 1928 and it had 1,450 seats. So quite a large building. 1,450 seats. I remember this cinema very well. Used to come to this quite a lot. I remember one of the first films that I ever went to see there with my friends was called Digby the Biggest Dog in the World. Back in the day, long time ago. I was probably about 12 or 14-year-old, I don't know. Anyway, I remember it very well. The Palladium Cinema, another one that ended up being a bingo hall, and now it's totally closed. It's got a Pizza Hut there, that's about it. So there you have it, the Palladium Cinema on Waterloo Road in Blackpool, one of the biggest and best cinemas back in the day. The Palladium Cinema, Blackpool. Okay, the next one is a little gem. A little gem used to be called the Rendezvous Cinema. Taking pride of place on Bond Street back in the day. I'm going to take you there now. Bond Street, South Shore, Blackpool, the Rendezvous Cinema. A little known gem. So here we have it. It's the Rendezvous Cinema on Bond Street, South Shore, Blackpool. That's the road that runs behind the Pleasure Beach. Okay, it runs from Waterloo Road all the way behind the Pleasure Beach. Okay, the Rendezvous. Don't know a lot about it. I never actually went into this one. It was a little bit before my time. It opened in 1925. But unbelievably, when you look at it, it looks relatively small, but it opened up at the back. It had 1,200 seats in this cinema. So it's had its fair share of seats, considering when the Palladium, which looked a much bigger building that we'd just been to before, had 1,450. It's only 250 less seats than the Palladium. So anyway, this was another one of those cinemas that ended up being a bingo hall, and ended up being a bingo hall. That was when I was a teenager, so hence the fact that I never went in it. And that was the last I saw of it, was as a bingo hall. But apparently it was a very popular destination for as a cinema in the 70s and 80s. So that's the Rendezvous on Bond Street, Blackpool, and that just about sums up all of the cinemas that were around in the 80s, 90s, open to the present day. So there you have it, viewers, the Rendezvous, the last one we're looking at on Bond Street in Blackpool. There you have it. So some quite frightening statistics there when you look at it. In the 80s we had 11 cinemas with 18 screens between them. And between them 18 screens had 14,600 seats that could be used up to 2 to 3 times a day. So yeah, you can just imagine how busy the cinemas were back in the day. By 1998 it was reduced to just one cinema, which was the Odeon. The Odeon, although it had 10 screens, it still only had 2,737 seats between the 10 screens. So you can see the massive difference in seating, okay? Now we've got no cinemas. None. They've all gone until the new IMAX opens. But even when that opens, it's in the not too distant future, so I believe that's only going to have 850 seats total across 9 screens. So what's that, about 100? It's less than 100 seats per screen. So it just shows you. So we've gone from the 80s, 14,600 seats across the cinemas, and when the IMAX opens we'll be reduced to 850 seats, which means we'll have 13,750 seats less than we had in the heyday. Okay viewers, hope you liked this video. If you didn't, there's not a lot I can do about it, but if you did, hit that notification bell and subscribe. Catch you later guys, ta-ra. Okay viewers, if you like what you see, Pop your comments in below and don't forget to hit that like button and the notification bell because we love it when you do that. And don't forget to share. See you soon in my next presentation. Catch you later. It's not your boy Leroy signing off. Ta-da!